Okay, so what I'm going to do here with you today is show you how to take a song that just has a demo, add a click track to it, also add cues to it, and then if I have time, without making this video too long, I'll show you how to add the video feed into it as well, so that when we view it in ProPresenter, this is the computer upstairs, you'll be able to control it from that. I'll probably do that in a second video. So this is close to the finished product. We're doing How Rich a Treasure We Possess. This is a Matt Boswell or Matt Papa song. And there are no tracks to it, so this is kind of an easy first time creating a song. So this is the demo, as you can see down here in the bottom, and then I have audio, which are the cues track. So and then you also have the click track here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I always like to make these white. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to create a new one by doing Command N for Nancy, and I'm going to hit Tab. Now this looks very similar. What we're going to do is I'm going to go here now to iTunes, and here's the song in iTunes. I'm going to drag it in to Ableton. You know what? Before I do that, let me go ahead and save it. Let's come up here to File. We're going to do Save Live Set As. Right now in my Seagate, I have multi-tracks and originals. So we're going to call this How Rich Treasure D, and we'll just say test for now since I've already created it. Okay, so you'll see over here on the right you have two MIDI tracks. Those are just, we're going to actually end up deleting one of them because we're going to use the top one for queuing up the videos. This one will probably be for the click, and then this one will be for the cues, and we're going to duplicate one right now so that we have, you can do Command D for that, so that we have one for the audio track. So let's go ahead and bring the track in. Right now up here in the top left, you'll see that it's 120 beats per minute by default when you start a new song. We're not sure that this one is 120, so we're going to bring it in, and I'll show you how to figure out what BPM it is. So let's go over here to iTunes. Let's right click and show in Finder. This is the actual file right here. I'm just going to pull it and hit Command Tab to come back over to Live, and I'm going to just drag it right in. Okay, so on first glance, I don't know if you can hear that or not. Let me see. Well, you can't really hear it. I might have to pause. I just paused the video because I wanted to make sure that you could hear the music. Okay. So you can see where the beats happen within the audio, and we need to line those up with the beats in the grid here. Now, as you can see, here's beat 3, or measure 3, beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, and you can see that there. Now you can see one other line in here. That's the 8th note. That's like the 1 and 2 and 3. So what we need to do is we need to first of all get this to the beginning of the measure, and then make sure that we have the right amount or the right tempo. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. As you can see, I click here and push up at the same time. I'm going to come to the front. We're just going to back this in a little bit and just get this really close, as close as I can here to it. Okay, let's zoom in a little more. All right, so that's really close. Now, as you can see, this is past that. That means that the BPM is too high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in this, and I'm going to drag it down until, well, actually that doesn't seem to be working very well. Hold on. You know, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back. I'm not going to shorten the front. We're just going to start we're just going to start right where it is and see if I can pull that back. Ah, wow, that's really close right there. So you can see where this lines up and this lines up, but as we get a little farther, you can see that the beats start happening sooner in the music than in the grid. So that means we need to maybe go up one. So I'm going to go ahead and just type 110, hit enter. Now the space right here looks almost exactly the same as the space here. That looks very close to me. Now, to really fine tune this, you can double click inside of this and zoom in and take this little bar down here and watch as we get really close right here. I need to zoom in a little more. Okay, that's about perfect right there. Now, a good way to test is to turn the metronome on, which is up here in the top left. So that means that this metronome is going to be clicking at this beats per minute, this tempo here, and we'll just try to make sure that it matches up the audio. That sounds about right. Great, let's just test kind of further down the song. That sounds great. All right, we found it. So this song is at 110 BPM. And well, it looks like there's kind of a long intro here. Go ahead and turn the metronome off. Okay, I think it's nice to keep that that intro in here with that pad coming in. Might give us a good chance, you know, the keyboardist a good chance to get that. We may go ahead and make this duplicate this little section of pads here and put that into a particular track so that we have it. We just don't want to have all the drums and all this kind of stuff playing while we have the drummer. So that's kind of the unique part about intros for songs that don't have tracks, and you know, that's fine. It's fine the way that it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and rename this track right here. That's Command R. We're just going to say demo. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to figure out the sections of the song so that we know how to navigate throughout the song. So let's go ahead and start with adding an intro here. So there's going to be like I'm going to probably make a four beat count in, or a 1 measure count in, and then this is the intro here, as you've heard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here in this area right in here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to add locator, and we're just going to say intro. So there's that. Looks like the waveforms change here, so that's probably where we get into the verse. Okay, good. Measure 11 is where we start our verse 1. Okay. Now, sometimes what I like to do is I like to add a time signature change here just because it makes it a little bit simpler to navigate. I had to pause it there for a second. I got a phone call. So I do like to create a new time signature change just so that when you zoom out, you can see this is 4 measures that are in darker gray and then 4 more measures that are in light gray. So I do that sometimes when it's not as clear where the breakdowns are and everything. So this kind of lets me know I can probably come up around in here, and there's probably going to be some type of a change, or it might be right here. Yes, you can see there. Let's listen. Okay, so right here is where the turnaround happens. Okay, it's not quite on the 16th bar, so there's a short. It sounds like there's a 3/4 measure or something like that. Okay, looks like. Okay, good. So this is verse 2 right here. Let's create a new time signature change there. Just hit enter. It'll keep the same time as the one before. It looks like we'll probably be around here. Yeah, that sounds right. Turn around right there. Kind of an instrumental right here. Okay, and here's verse 3. That was kind of a long turnaround. It's kind of a breakdown. And sometimes I'll put in something here. In my English guides, I will probably choose breakdown. Yeah, I'm going to do a breakdown probably right before it. Probably right there, because I'm going to want one measure before the actual cue, one measure before the actual time change, say before verse 3, you want to give a cue. I always give a cue one measure beforehand, and that just makes it clear for the team. They always know what to expect. And then if there's some other kind of a cue that's happening, sometimes I'll put that right after it. So right here, we'll actually end up putting in verse and then breakdown. And I also, sometimes I like to take it off of the beat, of the downbeat, so that they can hear it better. Because sometimes when there's a word on a beat, it's hard to hear it. Yeah, so, and that will be loud enough as we get closer. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're at 53. Probably going to be somewhere. It looks like it's probably around here somewhere. Okay, here's the bridge. Okay, so here's the ending right here. Okay, great. All right, so we pretty much have the spot. I just decided to put a little tag in there because he does that little amen thing, and it's probably nice to hear. And I also put last time in here. I may put lyrics in here that say last time. I don't know, probably not. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to find the cues. The vocal cues, which are the lady speaking and telling us what parts are which. Let's start with the intro. Now what we want to do is we want to say intro here and then 2, 3, 4 downbeat. Okay, so we're going to find intro here. Here's intro. And then I actually have counting numbers up here. And I always use fast. I never use slow. You can see this says 4, 4 fast, and then you have 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and whatever. I always use fast, and since we're using the word intro on beat 1, I'm not going to use beat 1, so I'm going to put in, I'm just going to paste that in, and obviously 4 needs to be dragged back onto beat 4. So here we go. Intro.
2, 3, 4.
Perfect. Okay, now let's take a look at verse. I'm going to go ahead and close that up. And we've got a few verses. So while I'm copying this, by the way, I'm doing Command C for copy and Command V for paste. As you can see, here's measure 11. I want to put it on measure 10. Let's zoom out and find the other verses. Here's measure 30, measure 29. Turn around. We've already got verse 3 in there. Great. All right, let's also find turnaround now. Turnaround. There